Do you have vitamins?
No. Can I take it with champagne?
You still have champagne?
Watered down.
Why'd you water it down?
Why are you so loud right now?
Why am I loud?
Yes, your bottle
I'm just putting it
is
away.
very loud. Alright, Fred, time to get fed. Thanks. You can have the bottle back.
You want a gummy?
No. Did you put Fred's spoon and cup away?
I might have when I was putting away dishes.
We don't know which one's his spoon anymore.
That doesn't really matter.
It's our spoon
Cup.
now. Yeah. Yes, I know. You've been very patient. Hello. Hey, Clock, you're sick. I'm sick too. So I tested for COVID. I was negative, but I don't I don't even know. Are our tests accurate anymore? Because um, I hope they're accurate, but I have a friend who tells me that her roommate was also exposed to people who were confirmed positive COVID cases, and she is having the same symptoms. I mean, it could just be a cold flu, you know? Um, it is flu season, it is cold season, obviously. I did get my flu shot too, so obviously the flu shot is not effective for all strains. Um, I hope New Zealand continues to not have Omicron. Um, I did get a PCR test. It took about 24 hours for me to get my results. I did not take a rapid because I hear they are not very accurate, so I didn't see the point in taking a rapid. Um, For everyone who's been wondering where I've been shooting Budget Eats all week. I have been working from 8 a.m. to approximately midnight with a break to go see Grandma and probably like an hour or two of interneting in between, but it's been a very intense week, which is why I have not gone live. Let's see, 8 a.m. to midnight minus 2 hours, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is what I've been telling people at work for 14 hours. Some nights run longer than others. It's been a lot. And I was actually filming today as well. That was the last day, so we have wrapped Budget Eats. I am trying to keep Lala safe from COVID. Did you guys miss eating? Did you guys miss watching Fred eat? I hope you're not missing eating Fred. Yeah, don't get your hopes up for an immediate release. I obviously just wrapped, so it'll probably take, I would say a month to get the episode up, maybe more. So you need to forget about the fact that I just told you I shot an episode of Budget Eats and just be pleasantly surprised when you see an upload. Fred has been adorable as ever. I think he's been very bored this week because I've been very busy and therefore I have been very negligent of giving him attention and love during the day. I've been trying to play with him for like 20 minutes a day. Sometimes he's into it, sometimes he's not. And I've noticed that he does this very adorable thing where he doesn't sleep with us anymore, probably because we have accidentally kicked him in the head or the stomach in the middle of the night as we're tussling about on bed. But he does come to the bed as soon as he sees me wake up in the morning. So usually I wake up around 7, I go pee, and then I come back to bed for like half an hour and stare at my phone. And when he sees that I'm up, he usually comes to the bed and just chillaxes and purrs, and sometimes he makes biscuits. So that's been very sweet. Thanks for saying good morning, Freddie. What a fast eater. I forgot how fast you eat. So Fred actually, our automatic feeder goes off at 4. After he eats, he will meow really loudly. I'd like to think that it's him saying thank you, but I don't know what it is. I wish sometimes he didn't meow that loudly, but he will meow like 7 times really loudly. His meow has really evolved since we got him in March. It's been fascinating to kind of remember how small his meows used to be and tentative, and now they're just like loud and almost growly. So that's Fredo. Still 3 teeth. Still asthma. How was he with Flovin today? Ron. I think he's eating. He's ignoring me. Alright. Welcome to the Clean Plate Club. Congratulations, you have cleaned your plate. What is eat hay, and is that 上火? Is that the Cantonese version of Mandarin 上火? And if so, you need to eat white, green, watery things. Good job. Good job. Look at that. Look at that. You did so well, Freddie. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Was he good with clothing today? You want to
I can go.
rinse the container? What's the point? We should just trash it. They don't recycle plastics anymore. We're just wasting water.
Agreed.
And yet we still do it.
Like apple time, wouldn't you?
Yes. See how mealy those things are.
Okay.
Can you lift the cutting board up? Oh, never mind, I got it.
I'll be using it now anyways.
I think I'm gonna make some more vegetable soup to get rid of the stuff in the fridge so I
Okay.
can have space for more food. A never-ending cycle of food. I'm tired.
After this week, who wouldn't be?
Very tired. My hair's a mess. Love it. We have truly entered the very awkward stage of growing out this hair. It's like, wow, that's rough. That's really rough. Yes, so I am sick. I don't believe it is COVID. I have tested negative. However, the news is 8 floors inside the Hearst Tower have confirmed COVID cases. And management did not tell anybody that that was the case. Thank you so much. Oh, this looks not mealy.
It's fine, yeah. From slicing it, based on slicing it seems okay. Did you finish the Weggies, Bede?
No, but it's very solid, so you should use the Smuckers.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like when Pete gets down to like.
I like when Pete gets like
Perfect.
that. Mm-hmm.
Once again, opposites.
So we were discussing amongst ourselves in the union, hey, what's going on? I heard there's cases confirmed. And then we were like, yeah, there's one on 24, 28, and then somebody was like 29, maybe 27 now. And then someone else was like, I think 11, 23. And then we were like, hold up. How many floors have COVID cases confirmed? And how many floors have exposures? And this was all information that we didn't get from management. We did get an email on Tuesday afternoon, by the way, that effective immediately on a Tuesday, we heard that many people are desirous of spending more time with, I'm paraphrasing, spending more time with their families during the holidays, so we decided to let all of y'all work from home until January 10th, effective immediately. And I was like, why is that? because I'm pretty sure the union has been fighting for flexible work schedules for folks who don't want to go into the office or commute, and management has been denying that. So why all of this sudden effective immediately shit? So it just seems like too much of a coinky dink for them to have various floors have COVID cases, and then suddenly this email comes out saying y'all can work from home if you don't want to come in. Anyway, alright, that's where all the peanuts are. Do you want me to mix it for you? I love mixing peanut butter.
Go for it.
Can I have a spoon? So they knew, the health center knew, and in fact, there have been so many people who have been going into the health center inside Hearst Towers because they were notified that they have been exposed, that the health center has in fact run out of tests. We have no more test kits in the tower, and still management is emailing us telling us that if we wanted to, we can go get tested at the health center. But coworkers who have gone into the health center know from the doctors and the nurses themselves who are in the health center working through this shit day in and day out, that there are no more testing kits. Management keeps downplaying what is happening in the tower. They keep pretending that everything is a-okay. They have this excuse of, well, we don't want to scare anyone or freak people out unnecessarily. And so they're treating us like we don't need to know shit. Which is very infantilizing for us and very patronizing for management to decide that we simply don't need to know this information unless we were literally 6 feet away from the confirmed case. That is the standard that they're operating under right now, is that you have to be 6 feet next to the person who was a confirmed case for 10 minutes or more in order for you to get notified.
And what's this thing about COVID positive people are allowed to work as long as they're masked in the office? Is that true?
Somebody got told by HR that if you have tested positive, but if you're asymptomatic, if you are not displaying symptoms, that as long as you wear a mask, apparently you can go into work.
So that's just somebody from HR said something.
Correct. I don't know if that is an official email, because if that were an official email, I'm sure we would be jumping down their throats immediately. But that just goes to show you that HR doesn't know what's going on. Management is out of touch with the reality at the health center. Cases in the tower have reflected the rate at which this Omicron variant is raging through New York City. Cases have doubled in the past 2 weeks in the tower, just like it is through the rest of New York City. So, obviously because everyone is vaccinated, people aren't dying, I should hope. But we're still getting sick, and it's certainly not good for us to be spreading more of this virus around. Just in case we come into contact with someone who happens to not be vaccinated for whatever reason, because there are various reasons, some more valid than others. But it has enraged me severely to know that this company simply refuses to give us details about the reality that is going on in the building, despite them knowing that there are confirmed cases. So I was actually slated to go in next Tuesday for a photo shoot as a food stylist for a quarterly magazine. I will no longer be attending that shoot. Unfortunately, my supervisor's move is to just hire a freelancer stylist in my stead. I'm not sure if they're not briefing full-time employees on the status of COVID cases in the tower, if they will be briefing stylists who go in, who are freelancers, about the conditions that they are going into. I think that management is being horrendously irresponsible. it is infuriating to see that this is how capitalism works. This is how corporations work. This is how my corporation that I work for right now works. Fuck, man. Just fuck. And of course, we get an email from whoever from management, just like nothing's wrong. Hey, we have cookies on this floor today. Go get yourself some cookies while 8 floors are contaminated by COVID. Truly ridiculous. But Jesus fucking Christ. They are not giving out names. It is confidential information. They're not allowed to give out names of who's infected. But we know, as part of people who are in the union discussing amongst ourselves, which floors have confirmed cases. And those who choose to identify themselves as positive will do so on their own accord. But we are not giving out names. Obviously, that would be a confidentiality breach. It does not matter what names, who's getting what, who's positive, who's not. That doesn't matter. What matters is that management is not giving us fucking information about cases in the tower, in which we are told repeatedly to go back to 2 to 3 times a week. That's what blows my mind. So you're just gonna pretend that nothing's wrong. 8 of those floors that have confirmed cases, I work on 2 of them. One of them holds the test kitchen. It's a big floor, so I wasn't notified because I guess I didn't come within 6 feet of the person, but that entire floor has a shared bathroom. The other floor is the editorial floor that is shared by Delish and other brands. Because the person wasn't on the Delish team, I also wasn't notified, despite the fact that I go to 11 and I'm on the same floor. So of course I had a mental breakdown this week. I was shooting Budget Eats, wearing myself thin. It's intense already, and then I get sick. I start having a sore throat. And then I hear about these cases from the union discussion, and I'm like, fuck, do I have COVID? Because I still have been going to Lala every day, who lives in a rehab facility, by the way, with other very vulnerable people. That population who's in the rehab facility is very vulnerable. So for me to have the possibility of being a fucking vector is not cool. The last thing I need is to kill my own grandmother after my mom has died. Wow. So, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be visiting with a cold. So, how have y'all been? It's been a while. Many people have been asking where I've been, so that's where I've been, just freaking out all over and being dead tired. I'm starting to mend. My sore throat is getting better. Yes, it is a cast iron collection now. A pretzel store? I want to work at a pretzel store. No joke, Aaron was telling me that if money wasn't a factor, What would I want to work for the rest of my life? What did I say?
Baker?
What was the other thing I said?
Travel vlogger?
Yeah. I want to be a travel vlogger or baker. Or both. So.
That's a niche I don't know somebody does is like go around the world but only focus on breads of the world.
I don't want to be a niche food vlogger. I want to eat everything.
Okay. I was just thinking how to combine.
The jars behind me, those are all Mom's ingredients. Oops. How was the peanut butter?
It's Smucker's. It's good. It's the best.
Wow, that was totally a ad. That was terrible.
And we scientifically determined Smucker's is the best.
Smucker's owns Jif, which it turns out I don't hate the taste of, but like they're big, they use palm oil. I get not the best.
I'm the one I bought.
I know, but they're still owned by the same parent company.
Did you or did you not blindly rate Smucker's as the best?
I did. I did.
How shocked were you with that?
Shocked, given that some of those peanut butters were $16. Absolutely fucking
One of the
shocked.
most expensive ones tastes like burnt rubber.
Yes. Oh, that one was terrible. So we're gonna make myself a veggie soup because even though I'm not very hungry, I have been severely lacking in terms of my vegetable intake this week, and we need to correct that ASAP, especially because I've been feeling under the weather. We're just gonna be eating random scraps as it goes. I have some radish that I bought for shooting a hosted video next week. I won't be needing greens, so I'll be chopping these greens off right now, and we'll be heating that up. I drank my bottle of Awards Veuve Clicquot today. Poured out a couple glasses for Mom and Aaron's grandpa. I'll probably just cook with these later. I don't know what I'm gonna put them into, but something. I did adopt Fred from Puppy Kitty, New York City. persistent on how much they don't enjoy Fred on this channel, I'm sorry. Fred is going to be a part of this channel as much as he can be. Also, this channel is like very contentless. If you haven't noticed, yes, I have edited footage on here, but most of the content right now is just lives of nothing important other than me ranting and cooking disgusting looking mush. And I think Fred is perfectly fine in that category of contentless content. So I'm sorry if it doesn't appeal to you, but it's just my life. It's just my boring life. I'm sorry. Got some leftover soup from my soup sauce from my hot pot today. So we're just gonna melt this down and boil vegetables in it and add water. Yeesh mageesh. How was your snacks?
Great snacks. TJ's makes snacks again.
Beautiful looking radishes. I've never tried Meghan Markle's zucchini mush. No, no. No, 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 no. We're not fighting anyone, Jenny. We're just letting the people know that if they watch this contentless content, they're gonna get a lot of Fred eating mush every day because that's a routine. My life is, we are thankful for the routines, as boring as they are. I know I have no sense of style or fashion. Do you think I dress up for these lives for y'all? It's been what? We started these in February. Now it's December. It's been 10 months. You know, like if you date someone for 10 months, you don't dress up for them anymore. Okay? Like maybe the first 4 lives, I was like, oh, maybe I should put on my nice purple flannel shirt. And then I was like, why? Who watches these except losers? JK. You can only be a long-time viewer if you happily accept that you're part of the losers club. In which case, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. But no, I think we love Wooplot. Wooplot makes me laugh. Welcome back, Wooplot. Be careful what trolling you do. You shall not know what hornet's nest you kick up. It is very hard to read people's tones, and if people don't know who you are and have no context of which viewers say what over time, they will get very incensed. And some people are very protective of a literal stranger. But I guess thank you? But also don't worry. I'm not that easily offended, y'all. Hi, Beijing. Guess what? I just tried to make ludagur, and it was like not up to my standards. The mochi was a little bit too hard. I didn't have red beans, so I used mung beans instead, and then I did a lot of really weird stuff with the flavoring. But then I brought one to Lala, and Lala was like, this is my favorite thing that you've made today. And I was like, either all the other stuff I made was pure shit, or you actually really like this one. And she requested another piece for another day, so I'm gonna freeze them, and I'll try to like steam them in the microwave, because mochi is really hard to reheat properly. It doesn't really retain its textures as well as leftovers. So if anybody has tips on how to reheat mochi things, let me know. What exactly is ludagur? So it literally means, lu is donkey, daguin or dagur with a Beijing accent means like he's like kicking around and rolling, usually on the floor or the dirt. So the dessert name is literally translated as rolling donkey. And it's basically a layer of rice cake, soft mochi rice cake, and you spread a thin layer of red bean paste over it, sweetened red bean paste, and then you roll it up, and then you dust the whole thing in toasted soybean powder. So it's kind of like a Chinese Swiss roll almost, and then you chop it up into pieces, and it's like a dessert. It kind of tastes like, what is that Japanese thing called, like daifuku? It's basically just like mochi with a red bean filling, but then you have the powdered soybean all over it, so it falls all over you as you eat it like a powdered donut would. And it's one of my favorite childhood nostalgic treats. So I tried to replicate it. It was my first time trying to make it. I don't think it was an utter failure, of course. It looked pretty good. Just didn't quite taste like childhood, but like what does anymore? I feel like even if you go back to China, if you go back to Beijing, if you go back to the exact store that I used to get those things at, they probably still don't taste the same anyway. But I definitely need to make a softer mochi next time if I make it again. Yeah, leftover tapioca pearls, I have microwaved them before. It's just doesn't have that same bounce. It's just, those things are hard. Those starchy things are very hard to get right. Yes, my hair has gotten very long from the last cut, but also look at my buzz sides. My buzz sides are long. When did we buzz this? Like May? I think May was the last time we buzzed this, so 7 months. It grew like, 4 inches, maybe? Perhaps 4 inches in 7 months. Okay. A little bit of water. Gonna go in with our leftover soup base. It will never taste as good as a memory is definitely right. Absolutely. Always. Always never as good as the memory. I have been using the Instant Pot a lot. In fact, for this Budget Eats, I used it every day, I believe. Every single day has a Instant Pot thing. in Beijing, by the way. Is COVID bad there too? I heard it can be really, really bad over there too. I'm gonna grate in some ginger because I need it. My system is intensely not happy. This ginger, I might have killed the ginger that Grandma planted for this budget eats. It shot up, but I tried to slice them off and I uprooted the whole thing. So rest in peace, Mom's ginger, if I did kill you. But this ginger is from October, y'all. Ginger keeps really well in the soil. Somebody once asked me how you keep ginger longer, and it shrivels and molds even in the fridge sometimes. And I guess, maybe you just pot it in some soil. Pizza dough for me really shouldn't last longer than 4 days for optimal freshness in the fridge. It will still work. It will just get grayer and sadder and as time goes on. And the gluten will actually start to kind of retrograde a little bit if you keep it there too long. Thank you for the random views. Although I don't see a single cent of that ad revenue from Budget Eats, so you're giving all that money to Daddy Hearst. I don't make any extra money for Budget Eats, in case anyone's wondering. I just get paid a salary, no overtime, and whatever views get, whatever ad revenue, is all Daddy Hearst's money. I'm just putting whole leaves of lettuce and cabbage in there, whatever. I don't even know if I washed those leaves, to be honest with you. Ah, well. Yes, that is Napa, indeed. If your pizza dough is 1 week old, you can still make pizza with it, probably. It might not rise as much because what happens is the dough will continue to kind of ferment even in cold, chilly temperatures. And obviously pizza dough has yeast in it, and the yeasty boys will continue to eat up the sugars in the dough, so the longer you keep that dough, the more flavor it'll develop, but after a certain point, that flavor will turn exceedingly acidic. So, the dough flavor will change, how much it rises will change. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it'll just be a different pizza than it was a week ago. I'm not going to make budget eats on my channel. If I'm honest with you, I am a little tired of doing budget eats. Like, I will continue to do it, I enjoy it, but I feel like we need to put more twists on it soon, because if you think about it, we've been doing this for more than a year now. Like a year and a half now we've been doing budget eats. It's just, I can keep doing it for the rest of my life, but I'm gonna run out of novelty for myself in terms of inspiration and motivation and desire. So you'll see on this upcoming budget eats, I basically repeated a lot of the same recipes that I did in the first episode, mostly because I think the first episode that we filmed with Aaron critiquing, not the $35 a week one, but I think it was 8 meals for $25. It was very like Asian meals. A lot of Chinese influences in the meal ideas, and this week was obviously very Chinese because I was using mom's ingredients, so my mind just obviously went to Chinese food. The big hot pot meal was hot pot. Can you make a sourdough starter with white lily all-purpose flour? Yes, you can make a sourdough starter with any kind of flour, but just know that if it is chemically bleached, it will have a harder time getting life, because sourdough starters basically are a collection of yeast bacterias, and more processed doughs, aka more whitened and bleached flours, have less yeasty boys in them to begin with. Wild natural yeast comes from outside, and when you process a grain like wheat intensely, it strips the bran, the germ. Basically, once you rip all of that off the grain, there's less life activity for it to give. So how does Delish incentivize people to produce good content if successful content is not rewarded monetarily? So Tess, Julia, and I are full-time staff employees. We do not get paid for our video appearances outside of our salaries. I believe the remainder people, Justin is also salaried. He's also a full-time employee. But the remainder of the people that you see on Delicious channel are contractors. They're freelancers, so they get paid for their video appearances. I don't know. Maybe that's why we don't have a lot of great content. I also really like the weird viewer combos, but yeah, I'm not sure. I was supposed to do another one of those videos for Thanksgiving where I would turn weird viewer combos into a Thanksgiving meal, but Mom passed away and that was all just shelved. So yes, it is cabbage right now. We're just going to let it simmer until it melts into creamy goodness, and then we'll pile on more shit. More shit, more shit, more shit. I do really want to go to different people's houses and ransack their pantry and fridge and do budget eats at their places. Like, that is an idea that I'm very excited about. It would be like reality TV show budget eats on the road. If COVID could take a fucking rest. Oh, I don't actually know what mala xiangguo is, so probably not. I'm very sorry. Is that like a hot pot base? Yeah, I don't think I made mala xiangguo. I just made do with whatever broth I had on hand. Yo, pimp my pantry. Do you think we're gonna get sued for that title? But we're not really pimping it, because we're not really adding stuff to your kitchen. We're just taking your kitchen and fooding it. Yes, Napa cabbage. Once this cabbage is kind of like completely fork tender, we're gonna go in with more ingredients, but I want to wait for this cabbage to break down a little bit. So COVID styles, photos of viewers' pantries, and then you get the same ingredients and go wild with them. Doesn't have quite the reality TV feel to it, you know? Like, you need the drama. You need, like me, going into the apartment, giving it all judgy looks, and opening up a cupboard, and maybe, like, a roach falls out. You know, like, maybe there's a flour bag with mealworms inside already, or there's, like, a bag that was forgotten at the bottom of the crisper drawer with, like, mushy, terrible smelling liquid or expired milk, and I'm like, actually, you could use this milk still, believe it or not. Come on, guys, visualize it, manifest it. Yeah, I mean, if y'all live in New York, start leaving comments on Delish videos being like, I volunteer as tribute for Budget Eats Road Edition. Radish greens taste really good to me. They taste almost creamy if you cook them right, but they can be a little bit fibrous. But the main thing about radish greens, which you see me doing, is you have to rinse them a lot. There's a lot of hidden grit in the leaves. It's not just in the stem. Sometimes the dirt gets embedded in the leaves too. Without a doubt, 9.5 out of 10 times, I know it's not an integer, you will bite down on something gritty at one point eating it. So it's just, you have to sign yourself up to be mentally prepared for that occurrence. That water was actually grit free, so fingers crossed. I would love to have a monster truck. I would love to ride in a monster truck. I know, the only problem with reality TV shows is that they're all staged. Are they all staged though? Is there a reality TV show that's not staged? I mean, let me ask you, do you think Budget Eats is staged? Do you count Budget Eats as a staged show? Because, I mean, obviously, I don't have a script, but I do have an idea of where I'm going sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So is that considered a stage show as well? I am not okay with mice. I will probably, if I see a mouse jump out, I would probably chop my fingers off by accident. That would not be a cool show. We are not eating mice on Budget Eats. I don't know what kind of Budget Eats this is. It's not Survivor Edition. Ooh, Jasmine. That's a good idea. But see, that's not gonna fly in COVID, unfortunately. Are you a piece of grit? No. I think you have lines in Budget Eats when you talk directly to the camera. I don't have a script because, again, Budget Eats is all self-shot. And I will brainstorm with Julia the general rules of the episode, like what the budget is, what can I use, what can't I use, and then we agree on that, and then I just like shoot for a week. And then Zach gets dumped with all the footage. He has to make a narrative out of that mess. And then Allie, who's no longer at Delish, or Sarah, who currently is at Delish, will handle the graphics cards where you see the grocery haul that then disappears, that animation of the food disappearing, and the ratings popping up. Those are made by Vineet. So there's a whole team involved. Julian and I then review each version of Zach's edit until we have like a version 4 final edit, and then we publish it online. That's the general workflow of an episode of Budget Eats. Yes, this episode of Budget Eats will not be ready until very late January. So do not hold your breath. Pretend I didn't say anything. Bye, Media Girl. I think editing Budget Eats takes 2 weeks because think about it. I shoot for a week. Zach then has to watch all of that footage before he can even start to jigsaw it together. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It takes basically 4 to 5 weeks to do an episode of Budget Eats, start to finish. Sometimes the brainstorming starts earlier. Think about it, y'all. It's a 90-minute episode. Do you know that's how long some movies are? The fact that we can push it out in a month is, like, intense. Which is why, if you think about it, considering how much money media gets paid in ad revenue and selling ads and all of that, because that's how media runs, is they sell ads, like most aspects of our lives. It's very surprising how little people who work for media actually make sometimes. You would think that working for a huge media corporation would mean a big paycheck, but you would be wrong for a lot of those people. So technically, Daddy Hearst only gives us like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve half day, New Year's Day full day, and maybe sometimes the day after New Year's Day. If New Year's Day actually falls on a weekend, like this next year is going to be, I think. But Delish tends to take the week between Christmas and New Year's off. There's a kind of like a fine print catch in there though, because I feel like people who are in director positions might not be off during that week, because it's a busy time for media, especially digital media. So there's always going to be someone who has eyeballs on the website, who's tracking everything, who's like doing emergency edits, because it's digital media. So technically we have that week between Christmas and New Year's off. But you know, your mileage may vary depending on your role and what shit goes down and what goes wrong. I'm gonna go run away to the woods to chop wood and bake bread when we can have fucking healthcare, or when I give up on the world 110% and lose all hope of existing in a better society, and I adopt a mindset more fully. I'm already adopting this mindset, but more fully so, of fuck this shit, I'm done, I don't care if I die from a heart attack in the middle of the woods, and then I just go. Because right now we don't have healthcare. If I quit my corporate job, healthcare is going to be expensive. This country sucks in that respect. This country sucks in many respects. It is, yes, better than some countries out there, but there are also... I still think that the US is a more preferred country for me to be in than China. So for example, how my life is so digital now, I was sending my uncle my Instagram post links. He's not able to open them. There's like no internet in China, basically, that I know of, that I would be interested in checking out. So I would still prefer to live in the US than China. However, if we compare ourselves to various other countries that are considered quote unquote first world, we're not so great. Trump buys Goya. You think Trump buys anything other than Diet Coke and chicken tendies? But Goya unfortunately has a monopoly on the market. I need white hominy in a can for an online recipe next week. If I don't buy Goya, that means I would have to spend money and expose myself to COVID potentially to go into Manhattan to a Whole Foods where I can find a bougie ass expensive can of white hominy. And that's just not worth my time. Also, giving $4 to Goya isn't gonna make or break the world. You know what really fucking sucks is we don't have universal health care, so Goya can take Daddy Hearst's $4 and blow it on 2 grams of chocolate. Okay, cabbage is getting nice and tendy. We're gonna go in with some soaked wood ear. I soaked all of this for Budget Eats, and I did not end up using a lot of it. Very, very, very many of it. Who knew that when you soak a cup of wood ear, you end up with like 8,000 metric tons of it? Yes, people hate on America, but people from every country flock here, and you rarely hear of people leaving. I guess, but we do deport quite a few. Or we hold them somewhere where COVID runs rampant, I guess. There's also that. The braising broth was leftover hot pot liquid and sauce. And normally I would have just tossed it out, but it was all made with mom's ingredients and mom's condiments, and I've been having a really hard time emotionally and mentally letting go of her various things, and I just felt, well, it's flavor, it's delicious, I'm the only one eating it, so I might as well save it and turn it into soup. My fridge was like not at 110% capacity for all of 2 hours this afternoon before I had to get groceries for my hosted videos next week. It's intense. We've been looking at some apartments. They have a smaller fridge. I truly think if I keep this job, I'm gonna have to buy a bigger fridge if the new apartment comes with a smaller fridge. But also, looking for apartments right now is like really fucking hard. What was the frilly, jiggly, tan stuff you ate on your Insta? You're gonna have to wait for the video and watch and find out. COVID tests, I think, are free for those who are uninsured. They do bill insurance companies if you have insurance. So for the most part, they are free. And if they're not, you can find free testing sites, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. We'll let it cool off a little bit. We'll let the carryover cooking do more of that work. I'm gonna put a lot of this cilantro in because we have it, and it's going to wilt anyway in the fridge. Yum. If you hate cilantro, just be glad you're not eating this. I have truly developed a new love for braised cabbage. I put some cabbage leaves in the Instant Pot for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I have never eaten better braised cabbage in my life. Antiviral properties, you say. Oh, good. I'm so glad. So happy. I also think to avoid letting mom's ginger go to waste, because I'm really bad about using ginger, and since I've already plucked and cut into this, we're gonna just make a small pot of ginger tea, and that'll be also very good for me. Do you consider the Instant Pot a worthy investment if you don't have time to cook and or you don't enjoy the process of spending your time over a stove, but you still want to eat home cooked stuff? Then I would say absolutely the Instant Pot is worth your money, because you really just need to put stuff in there, set a random time. You'll get more of a gauge of what happens in that time as you use it. Walk away, and then you come back like an hour later and it's done. And then you eat it. If you enjoy the process of cooking and you like stirring it, keeping an eye on it, adding more ingredients as time goes on, I would say if you have a small place, then not really, no. But also if you like stuff like beans, that shit can really cook beans to a creamy consistency. There's also a lot of settings that I haven't really played with yet that would be really useful for you if you want to, like, what are some things here? There's like a steam function, a porridge function, meat stew. I don't use any of the preset functions, honestly. There's also a yogurt setting that might be really useful. I just do the pressure manuals. I always set my own time. I don't use their presets, but I just realized that Mom might still have the plastic covering on the control panel here. I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm just gonna leave it on there. And then 10 years down the line, if I'm still alive, I'll figure out one day that I've never peeled off her plastic. One of these days, we're gonna have to do another live where I sharpen my knives, because my Santoku knife was embarrassingly dull on this episode. I was so embarrassed for myself. You probably won't be able to tell during the episode when you watch it, because Zach is gonna probably edit all of that out, but damn, Mom's cheap ass knife did a much better job chopping through stuff than my $100 Santoku knife. Because I didn't sharpen it. Sharpen your knife, folks. Does make a difference. You tried to sharpen your knife and now you can't use them? What happened? No, I've already had like 3 dinners. I basically ate the hot pot for lunch. And then I ate like a third of a pound of pecorino, which was so much more salt on top of the hot pot. And then I ate like a quarter of the block of halva that Aaron got for me, which was so much sugar. And now my body is hating me, so we're gonna eat some vegetables. Yes, radish greens. I guess instead of doing this, we could have thrown all the vegetables into the Instant Pot. I didn't think about it. But then I wouldn't even have been stirring anything while I was talking with you. So there's that. If you make really boring lives, you might not want an Instant Pot, just so that you can make your lives a little bit less boring by stirring the pot every so. You know, people's tastes change over time. If you didn't like something 10 years ago, you might like it now. Because you're a different person, believe it or not. I don't really do buildings much anymore, no. I had another intake session with a different therapist today, and I was very shocked. I thought it was very unprofessional at some points because I think she was taking the Zoom call on her phone. And there were 3 times during our session where her phone started buzzing, and I saw her finger move to the screen to tap it shut, and I was like, oh girl, no. But she did give me 2 actionable items because at the end, she was like, well, we're going to have to wrap this up. Do you have any more questions for me? And I was like, yes. What is one actionable thing that you can give me as an assignment that you think would help? She said that she recommends taking like cold showers, not completely cold showers, but just transitioning my shower to be cold for the last 10 seconds and then working my way up to like a minute of cold showering. Apparently it brings my body back to a homeostasis. Is that a thing? Cold showers zones me in to the current moment. It's almost like a trigger your body to go into a meditative state. So maybe when I'm not sick, I'll give that a try. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna see her again. I've decided she's not a great fit. But this is why we do the therapist shopping, which, by the way, Spring Health gave me a very interesting email that was like, we don't encourage you to see multiple therapists at the same time. And I was like, I know, I'm shopping. I'm trying to find the therapist that I can stick with for the next year. And they were like, yeah, but we recommend that you stick with one therapist and see if it works out and allow them time. I was like, no. I'm gonna keep my appointments. So this therapist her accreditations are a social worker, so I guess there's different certifications of therapists. There's a lot of abbreviations that I don't know what they stand for, like LMHC. I don't know, guys. There's a lot. LSW. So who knows? I don't really want to judge folks based on their titles and accreditations. I'm just like, whoever fits, but this one was not a fit. So. She also gave me very questionable. I was talking with her about my binge eating and my disordered eating and kind of compulsive emotional overeating, and she what phrase did she say? I don't remember. But she told me to basically use distraction methods of like putting a rubber band around my wrist and snapping it every time I want to overeat. I'm like, I don't think that's going to fulfill this hole in me that I want to fill when I'm actually overeating. Like, when I'm overeating, I'm trying to escape or delay, procrastinate on this feeling of anxiety, long-term stress. And I don't think I can convince myself that snapping a rubber band on my wrist is going to fulfill anything. Ashley, you almost made me snort my soup up my nose. So I said that to her, and she was like, yes, that is a short-term thing, but in order, you can change your conditions, but very few people do it. And I was like, uh-huh. And she was like, well, you can make yourself feel better in the long term if you change your lifestyle. And I was like, uh-huh. And she said, you know, like, you have to change your diet. And I was like, uh-huh. She asked me a lot of questions like, well, when you overeat, like, exactly how much do you eat? And I was like, I don't know how to measure how much food I eat. I kind of just sit down and I snack for hours. And sometimes when it's really bad, when I'm emotionally really unstable, I will eat until I'm physically very uncomfortable. And then she started asking me, well, like, what do you eat? And I was like, I work in food. I eat everything. My house is constantly filled with food. And do you want me to list like, I have apples. I have peanut butter. Sometimes I can eat half a jar of peanut butter in a night when it's really bad. I have chips. I love chips. And she was like, so you always have all of these and you must have them in the house. And I was like, well, yes, sometimes they're for work. Sometimes grocery shopping is my hobby. I derive joy from it, and I really like eating things. And she was like, I see. And I was like, yes, I know that people have had the tip of like, if you know you're going to binge on this food, just don't buy it. But it's kind of impossible for me to not buy food because I work in food, and also this is the only thing that gives me joy. And she was like, well, what are your other hobbies? And I was like, Jesus, I don't have any, but also photos, I guess. Music and movies, like every other boring fuck out there. That was very interesting. It made me very thankful for my previous intake session with another therapist who I really like a lot. She unfortunately didn't have very many availabilities when I checked, so I'm going to have to check to see if I can actually schedule something more long-term with her. I have, I think, 2 more intake sessions for the end of the year. But I'm going to try out, hopefully, if the program allows me, I'm going to shop 2 more therapists, and then I'll decide who my therapist for next year will be. Hopefully it's someone who does not tell me to snap a rubber band on my wrist. Joe. Yeah, why doesn't Black Friday offer therapist deals? Word. We need that. We don't need any more makeup, gadgets, yoga pants. We need some fucking mental health therapy. For cheap. Well, not cheap, but discount. I too worry about the therapist and my insurance. Maybe there's a reason why my company switched to Spring Health. Maybe it was cheaper for them than the previous program, which literally let us choose any mental health provider in the United system, but now we have a specific platform for mental health called Spring Health. And hi, Kat, you're watching. Hello. Welcome to my bitching session about life. What was I saying? What was I bitching about? I mean, let's be honest, it was probably cheaper for them, which is why they made the switch. So it has to be cheaper for a reason. Oh, and Spring Health also does this really weird thing where they ask you to have check-in sessions, which is a very long survey that takes 10 to 15 minutes to fill out if you're actually filling out the answers and not just clicking on random numbers to get the shit over with. Not mandatory, but they will keep sending you emails to bother you about filling it out. And the last page of the survey is all about, do you think your conditions have affected your work? If so, how many hours in the past week do you think has your condition affected? And like, how many hours did you take to rest because of your condition? And I'm like, why does this matter so much to you? Is this just a tracker for how productive of a cog I am? Because it really makes me feel that way, especially as someone who's been on the bargaining committee for the Hearst Union, who has seen all the anti-union bullshit that goes down at Hearst. I'm always looking for hidden agendas now. You made me this way. But yes, it's nice to be here again. I've been thinking about going live like almost every single night of this week, but it was truly exhausting. I'm still very exhausted. But hopefully I can recuperate a little bit tomorrow. Unfortunately, I still have a lot of note-taking to sift through for this Budget Eats. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes nitty-gritties that I am not looking forward to recording because I probably forgot 80% of the stuff. But here's the radish greens. Oh, you know what? Needs a little bit of sesame oil. Makes everything delicioso. you think Smuckers tastes better than Teddy's?
Again, you keep asking me about the peeps, but to me, they're all kind of the same. Don't really have a preference about them.
Okay.
Yeah, a natural crunchy beef is the same as any other natural crunchy beef.
Ginger tea. If you have menstrual cramps, if you have a cold, if you have I don't know if you should take this if you have a fever, but I always drink ginger tea whenever I'm sick. My mom also used to make me pear soup too. She would just cut up an Asian pear, drop some rock sugar in there, and let it boil with water and make me drink that.
Is this the vegetable soup I'm smelling?
Yes.
That's nice. Might I heat up some water?
Mm-hmm.
It's
You want
basically
ginger tea?
just ginger, huh?
Well, that's my vegetable soup, and this is ginger tea.
Well, it's mixing to a nice smell.
Do we think, I'm not trying to stir up any conspiracy theories here, but do we think it's possible that there is some variant of COVID that is not showing up as positive on the tests? Like, is that a possibility? Do we have a scientist
You're
in the
the
room?
first one to have it.
I mean, I'm not
You're
the
patient
first.
0.
I'm just saying, some
Oh.
people are having. Alright.
You're patient 0 of strain Zeta.
Zeta, is that going to be the next one?
Well, it's the final Greek letter, isn't it?
I know there's a major outbreak right now. And, I just don't know how much we should trust the test anymore sometimes. But they do say that COVID doesn't come with, like, sneezing, right? And I have been sneezing, so hopefully it's not COVID. Aaron said that he experienced some sore throat too when I had my sore throat going on, but his symptoms also disappeared the same day. I truly don't know anymore at this point. Wait, there is sneezing for Omicron? Jesus fucking Christ. Can somebody fact check that? Wait, I should. Oh my god. You're gonna make me WebMD myself and I'm gonna end up with like ovarian cancer by the end of the night. Somebody just tell me what the symptoms are. Yeah, I didn't take a rapid though. I took a PCR and I came back negative, but who knows? Who knows? They're keeping our swabs for our DNA. Are they gonna clone us? More cogs for the machine. We need more cogs. They're all dying like flies. Yikes. Well, you know, at the end of the day, if we don't die of COVID, we'll die of something. Just eat that cheesecake today, babes. I'm gonna stop WebMDing myself now. There's no point. Who else has given up on life? Can't just be me. Should I put cheese? No, I'm not gonna put cheese. Gosh. But I will put some boiled peanuts on my veggie soup. Boiled peanuts are great. I love boiled peanuts. Apparently it's a southern thing, but it's also a very Chinese thing. Cultures with boiled peanuts know where it's at. There are so many textures to peanuts that are not appreciated enough right now. Oh no. I don't know if I want to listen to your Dead Sea Life's boiled peanut story with a vomit phase at the end of it. I'm not sure if I want to know. Don't ruin boiled peanuts for me, please. What tea are you having, Aaron?
It's on the counter.
Oh, hibiscus. No, the water's not ready yet. I was just asking.
Okay.
How's Fred? Ready? If you want to come hang out here. What if I play with you? Do you want to play? I'll distract you.
Give him a shake of the old treat turn it
No,
out.
he's had enough treats.
Can't be private.
Do you want to come play? I'm trying to lure him in, but it's not working. Sorry, guys. I wanted to give you more Fred, but it's not happening. Do you want me to carry your water to you? The texture of boiled peanuts is like tender. It's like a fresh pea, like a fresh green pea. It's kind of snappy, but kind of soft. Can you hear it? You didn't like the boiled peanuts, did you? Aaron doesn't like them.
I liked your fried peanuts.
I know. You're a basic bitch.
Yes.
I will lure Fred just to say bye to you guys. Oh, you heard it, buddy. Didn't you? You know what we do now? You have to give me your paw. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. Hey, no hitting me. Aaron's trying to train you. Give me your paw, please. No bitey. Good boy. Alright guys, take care. I don't know when I'll see you next, but don't get sick. Don't get COVID. Don't spread it to other people. Wear your fucking masks. Thank you so much. And live to see another day, right? That's our motto. Fred is still chasing that treat with no teeth. Everyone be like Fred. Always eat the treats, even with no teeth. And take your vitamins.